I have a video of Michael Irvin that was shit. Fuck. Damn. Ow. That hurt. Damn. Fucking win. Ow. Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Bucky Beaver. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm beginning to feel like the Dallas Cowboys are throwing in the towel against the Philadelphia Eagles. We are sitting here 3 weeks to the day, 3 weeks to the day of taking on the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. And I am a die-hard Dallas Cowboy fan that loves the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm getting the feeling that Jerry Jones doesn't love us the same way. We're sitting here 3 weeks from now without our best player having had a practice. I'm sorry. He's injured. He's got a hurt back. Yeah, he's got a hurt back. But that hasn't stopped him from being a great teammate. That was nice. That was nice. At least the team's getting along. We got Jerry Jones who's talking about the owner and general manager. Guys, this is painful for me, man. I hate to say this, but this is the feeling I kind of had going into last season. You hope for the best and you expect the worst, and you're never disappointed. But I feel like here we are, sabotaged again by Jerry Jones. You know, football is crazy because nobody expected Washington to go to the NFC Championship game last year, going into the beginning of the year with the new coach and all that, and all of the issues they had surrounding the team. But I feel like we started out with a lot of hope and good feelings and things with shoddy shots and stuff. Getting George Pickens, and I have to say that, you know, contrary to the one interception Dak had yesterday in practice, that, of course, is blown up more than any other quarterback throwing a bad pass in practice, that all of that has been destroyed by Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, the egomaniac who is just constantly looking for the headlines and bullshitting, and has no problem screwing over the team and doing those things. To be clear, this whole standoff that we have with Micah Parsons, there's no benefit to it. There's no benefit to it. Both sides are going to be hurt on this. Micah Parsons, when he does get back out here, is going to have to ramp it up. He's not going to be ready to go first game. And let me remind y'all, when we played without Emmitt Smith, we lost both of those games. It's got so I normally look forward to doing my morning video to start my day. It's gotten to the point where I don't even know what to say anymore. I honestly don't know what to say anymore. I know this. We've got a problem on our team. And I'm going to say one of the problems we have is when you are a team that doesn't believe in free agents, you have got to hit on the draft. And looking back at the 23 draft, that draft was bad for us. Semi Fioco, our fourth-round pick, who Washington had on their roster, they have since released him. This draft class right now, when you start hearing rumors about the Cowboys, maybe trading somebody or getting rid of somebody, two people that are at the top of the list are on first and second round picks. Mozzie Smith, who says he's looking in the mirror and basically doesn't like what he sees as far as what he's putting out on film. At least he understands that. And I hope there's time for that to turn around. But I'll say that the Cowboys, much like Jerry Jones right now, have failed him with three different offensive coordinators with three different philosophies of what they want him to do. That they have not made it easy on him to try and use his strengths. Luke Schoonmaker, which when we drafted him, we had Peyton Hendershot and Jake Ferguson, and it kind of scratched your head and said, well, what? Schoonmaker, they could try and make a trade for him, although I don't think you're going to get much, and the tight end room wouldn't be hurting. And maybe that's what the Cowboys should try and do because we still have major holes on the defense front. Looking at that draft class, let's just look at that draft class for a second. Mozzie Smith, number 1. You haven't gotten much from him. Luke Schoonmaker, number 2. Haven't got much. Overshown, he looks like the real deal, but has been injured for the most part. Semi Fioco, we just talked about him being released by Washington. Asim Richards, even with the injury to Tyler Guyton, that Big Nate passed him by. Eric Scott, Deuce Vaughn, who probably will be cut, and Jalen Brooks. Actually, Jalen Brooks did make a nice catch in practice yesterday. But that's it. That's your draft class. And you don't sign free agents and you let go starters. You can't build a team that way. It made me sick last night because I got everybody who just seems to bypass the issues that we have with Jerry Jones and immediately go straight to Dak Prescott. It's ridiculous. My thoughts on the season where I had more hope, and people are trying to say, well, you're talking about them being – no. I have said all along, I think they'll be better than the 7.5 wins we had, we have on the over and under. But I don't know about how much better because I'm sitting here again. I'm not sure how well we'll run the football. I feel like the passing game is going to be good. I'm not sure how we're going to run the football. I'm not sure about the offensive line. And I'm definitely not sure about the defensive line in the secondary. And as of yet, we have spent the whole training camp period doing absolutely nothing with getting our number 1 player signed or filling in these holes. And the Cowboys will do cowboy things. After touchdowns, maybe next week we'll start looking at bringing in some players. But all of the times, this is the problem that I don't think Jerry Jones gets it. It's not fantasy football where you can get a guy on your roster this week and you can plug him in and play. You need practice time. You need to work with the coaches. You need to understand the calls. And I'm at the point where I know we're never going to win as long as we continue to run an organization the way we're running right now, Jerry Jones. And I went from being excited about the season to right now, I'm dreading 3 weeks from now. I honestly feel like Jerry Jones is trying to make sure we are screwed as much as possible week 1. Maybe that's to tamp down expectations of a season being good. I don't know. But knowing that Diggs is not ready, that Savon Ravel is not going to be ready, and we don't really have cornerbacks that you feel confident of covering the Eagles, that our ability to stop the run does not look good, and we're going to have a tough time running the football. It's all pretty bad. And all we can talk about right now is Micah.
Man, their star linebacker, Micah Parsons, and that man, their longtime owner and face of the franchise, Jerry Jones. Our Todd Archer asked Jerry yesterday what is preventing him and Micah from talking right now. Listen.
Nothing.
So why don't you talk?
Again, nothing would be that, and we might or might not talk. And the rest of that gets in what we do every day.
You think that talks would pick up a little bit with him?
I don't know that necessarily talks will, but we've got a game coming, and he's under contract.
Well, those are the two things that we can confirm from what he just said. They do have a game coming, and he is under contract. Yesterday, reporters approached Micah Parsons, and he simply told them, my mouth is closed. And so when I say, Marcus Spears, that your favorite team is dealing with a war of no words, that is quite literally what I mean. I can tell from the look on your face, you're not enthusiastic about it. What do you expect to happen here, Marcus Spears?
Listen, man, the one thing for me is, right, with this is personal now. Like, listening to that sound, I hadn't seen that before. This is absolutely personal. I know people have been saying that before, but when we get to the point where we start talking about nothing, I don't have nothing to say. He's under contract. Be there for we got a game coming up. There is one thing that's like in this situation, and David Mulligetta is Micah Parsons' agent, and there is some type of strategy. I don't think it's as simple as him playing in game one with what's going on in this particular situation. And I know what people say, well, he under contract, he's gonna lose a lot of money and do all of these things. But this is kind of fell off of a cliff where now it's a peeing contest. And now people are starting to hold their ground and stand in what they standing in. And for Micah to say my mouth is closed, it's like I'm nonchalant, being passive aggressive about this, and Jerry having his word on what he just said to Todd Archer. But it goes back to saying we don't have anything to talk about. We have a deal in place, and Mike is like, no, we don't. There is a lot of non-football energy of dislike going on right now between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones, and that is probably the worst thing that can happen in this situation.
That's the risk that Jerry Jones runs by consistently negotiating through the public. I think he believes that it's going to be entertaining, it's going to draw some attention, and also it creates pressure on the player. And it depends on the player that you're creating the pressure on. If you create pressure on some players, that might pressure them to show up and capitulate. You create pressure on other players, it might encourage them to have the contest that Marcus was talking about. And I think Micah Parsons is the latter. I suggest that Jerry Jones figure this out. And this is the most mind-blowing thing about this for all of us, is that throughout the history of all of this, we know what Micah Parsons is going to get. Yes. He's either going to get it today, or he's going to get it week 1, or maybe it'll be week 3 or 4. He's going to get this contract at some point. Why we keep dragging it out?
Are we that certain of that? I mean, Jerry Jones, look, you make a billionaire the kind of angry he appears to be, and what he said is an accurate statement. He is under contract for this season. The option of putting the franchise tag on him beyond that exists. Yes. It would be an unpopular and perhaps spiteful move, but it's out there. Where does this go from here?
They've done it before. They did it with Dak Prescott. He played on a franchise tag and was close to doing it again before they got a last-minute deal done. So a war of no words is the right way to put it. There haven't been conversations. I believe, based on the conversations I've had around this situation, that the Cowboys felt like they had a deal done in March, which Jerry has said, and they feel like if Micah wants to take that deal, then great. We'll be good to go. But if not, then they expect him to show up and play and see where the chips fall. Now, again, I'm not defending their position.
So they no longer...
I'm telling you what it is. And I don't know, Swagoo. Maybe it is personal. Maybe Jerry did get offended that he thought there was a deal done and Micah didn't. But like it feels like it's time to get past that. Like there's any number of roads out of that situation that he
if
just
there
doesn't
was a
seem
deal
to be willing
done,
to take.
There was a deal done,
Yes.
then you should have signed it. You didn't sign it then. Context has changed since then. Like that to me is an absurd position to stand on.
And there wasn't a deal done. The two of them had a handshake conversation, and the agent wasn't involved, and that doesn't constitute a deal in anyone else's mind. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, this is a synonymous situation with I own the team, I got the money, you do what I say. And I think that's how Micah is taking it. And that's why I think this thing has deteriorated as fast as it possibly can. Look, we all know in the league when we're players that the owner and the league, they have a lot of control because of the franchise tag, how long they can hold you in an organization that you don't want to be in. But every once in a while, there's a player that will come along and say, you know what, I'm not going to capitulate to that. I'm going to go the opposite direction of what usually happens, and we're going to have a battle. Either you're going to pay me what I believe I should be paid, or I won't show up and play. And I think we're teetering in that area as much as it will hurt Micah Parsons' pocket.
I think that's the thing. The Cowboys need to find out now if this is that kind of player. I think they're willing to call his bluff. If he doesn't show up and play week one and they give up 45 points to the Eagles, then I think a lot of the leverage shifts toward Micah Parsons in this, and we've seen that in the past with Jerry. We go way back, obviously. We're thinking about Emmitt Smith. But I think at this point, the Cowboys want to see if he's willing to do that, and I don't think they're going to just take his word for it.
I am a firm believer that history in sports tends to repeat itself. I will just call everyone's attention to 1993. Emmitt Smith held out the first 2 games of that season. The Cowboys were struggling. They got a deal done. That season ended with Emmitt Smith as the league MVP and the Cowboys winning their second of back-to-back Super Bowls. That to me is the precedent here. If Micah sits out the first game or 2 of the season, and they're playing on the opening Thursday night against the defending Super Bowl champs. If Saquon Barkley runs all over them up and down the field, doesn't that change the narrative for Micah Parsons' case?
Of course it does. And to the point that we've all been making this whole time is I understand that sometimes you want to take a risk negotiating. Not with this guy. Not with this guy. He's like a future Hall of Famer. We all would agree if his career continues on this trajectory, that's where he's headed.
I'm late here, but Graziano, if I were to ask you to assess the chances, I'm asking you to do something you hate to do, and that is guess. Assess the chances that what this all ultimately results in is Micah Parsons playing somewhere else as soon as, let's say, next season.
As soon as 2026.
Yes, but meaning nothing gets done right here, and he winds up getting traded, whether it is now or this offseason.
Give Greeny what he wants.
Scale of 1 to 10.
4.
Okay, that's better than I expected. A 4 from Graziano was like a 9 from Greeny, so I love it.
That is like a 9.
It could happen. All right, we got run late. Let's go. And we continue. It's the injury that.
Okay, there you have it. We got jokes here. So that's where we are. And we need some more hope, man. We need something to pick up our spirits. This is ridiculous. Jerry, you got to get this damn thing done. I just can't take it anymore. Have a good day, people. Peace.